And good morning, everybody. And we are back with Richard Horowitz, and we're talking about terrorism, domestic terrorism, international terrorism. And, we've gone over a number of different things with Richard this morning. We've talked about some of the plots, more recent plots that, have been uncovered by law enforcement, and thank goodness for that, saving us a lot of strife and angst there. All right. And we've also talked about how dangerous some of these plots can get, and they can get very, very dangerous very, very quickly. Richard, what I'd like to do is I'd like to follow up with you now. If you can help us, how do we better identify who's organizing these plots?
Well, they can be in one of two categories. Either people on their own are inspired to do it without any formal connections to an organization, or an organization, Al-Qaeda or others, send people, train people to do it. So you can have people who have been arrested and convicted for conspiring to commit a plot, who were inspired by whatever inspired them, flew over to an Al-Qaeda training base, came back, and were on their own. You can have people who get inspired without having participated in Al-Qaeda training. And then you can have Al-Qaeda operatives like the 9/11 hijackers. I think we should distinguish between Al-Qaeda, the organization, and Al-Qaeda, the phenomenon. Al-Qaeda, the organization, at least the centralized organization that was headed by bin Laden at 9/11, the state of affairs of Al-Qaeda Central, let's call it, is far less than what it was on 9/11. I wouldn't say it's falling apart, but the risk that it posed then, 9/11 is not the same as today because of a lot of successes that the government has done. There are other Al-Qaeda organizations. Some have the extent to which they're associated formally with Al-Qaeda Central is open to debate. Some use the brand name, so to speak. But Al-Qaeda isn't the only organization, and we shouldn't focus only on that. It's the most popular because of 9/11. But it's not the only one. There is a thinking out there, theology, thinking, whatever you'd like to call it, that certain Muslims adopt, and they believe that they're on a mission to God, from God to kill people in order to achieve their objective, which is to have their view of Islam dominate the world, and they don't hide it. They say this, which is one of the things we'll see on MEMRI TV clips, but they say this openly in their own language. Sometimes you'll even hear it in English. Maybe we can get some of those clips too.
Yep, it sounds good. Now, MEMRI, you explained at the bottom of the last segment. Why don't you just explain that once again so it's on this clip as well? All right,
Yeah.
MEMRI stands for what?
Middle East Media Research Institute. They have several websites and blogs, and they also have a service which translates Arabic and Persian television shows. It's called memritv.org. I think every week we should just mention a MEMRI clip of the week. If you go to the website, go to advanced search and put in clip number 3310, you will see a former Iranian ambassador stating that Saudi Arabia, in his opinion, is not an Islamic state. Now, if an Iranian government official maintains that Saudi Arabia is not an Islamic state, then that doesn't bode well for the rest of us. So I think every week I'll mention a MEMRI clip of the week. We can either show it if we have time, or people could log on and watch it during the week, and we could discuss it next week.
All right. I guess with most of this, Rich, the big deal here is really if we get it in advance, we can certainly set it up, and we can actually play that. As long as it's with a minute, 2-minute clip or something like that, we can certainly get it in here on the program. That's not a problem. Now, next week, I just wanted to put a little tease out here to everybody. You're going to try and bring on Patrick Dunleavy, a former prison official, and he's going to give some background, kind of debunking this whole notion that, I guess, the prisons are just this wonderful nurturing area where people learn how to be good. there's a lot of internal training going on with inside our prisons across America, and it's a breeding ground for a lot of subversive activity. All right, you wouldn't take issue with that, would you?
Well, Patrick wrote a book called The Fertile Soil of Jihad, and the book is on radicalization in prison. He wrote an entire book on it, and the Triangle Report said prison doesn't seem to be a major source of radicalization. So I think what he has to say should be very interesting to our viewers.
All right, and will we be able to get him on the program next week?
Yeah, I'll check with him. I'll check with the schedule. I spoke with him. He'd love to do it. I spoke with Zudi Jaster, who is the narrator and director of the Third Jihad. That's something I think we should spend a few weeks on. He'll be happy to come on the show as well. He organized a rally yesterday of Muslims who were supporting the NYPD surveillance and monitoring program.
Yes, I saw that.
It's gotten some publicity.
Yep.
So I've spoken with him. He'd love to come on. So those are things we have coming up.
All right, so that's our program here with Richard Horowitz. And Rich, we certainly appreciate you taking time to be with us and on the program today. And we look forward to more in the future as well. All right, thank you very much, Rich, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and take it easy.